Hey, welcome back to the What If universe. I'm Drew here bringing something new, and for today we have brought on not one but two people this time, but they're from one channel. So, welcome the My Hero My Life team. I guess I don't know how to introduce two people. They're done this.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, hey guys, usually I'm the one you guys hear the most, but we also have my partner. But that's just
the villain side.
This guy. And so yeah, we're so thankful to join you today right here on What If Universe.
Anyways, to kick things off for questions that most people in comments will probably ask anyways. Yes, Juggernaut Deku, we have one half of our collab written, and we'll get to the other one when we get there. So don't worry about it. It's still in production.
We're waiting for that like goal, guys. Go like them videos.
Like them and we can do it.
But other than that, we're not doing much else because
we actually have a couple more parts written. We're just waiting for you guys to hit the like button. That's all we need. Need them likes, bros.
Actually, it's true. I do think we have maybe 1.5 actually written. Now I think about it. But I guess one thing to start off with how do you start your channel together? This is kind of a unique scenario.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm just gonna let the cat out of the bag. Me and my partner are actually brothers. So basically the way it worked is, what year was it? 2018 maybe? I don't remember. You can trace my channel back. Either way, there was the December before I launched. I launched in January. I just remember I was on vacation in Florida, of all places. Not that matters. And I just thought of this idea of, you know what? Actually, to get started, I thought, what if I did videos on My Hero Vigilantes, the manga? And I thought that it was something that wasn't being covered a lot at the time. And so if you notice, some of my earlier videos harken back to that. But I also did other ideas like, what if Dragon Ball Z was in My Hero Academia, different stuff like that. And we found that the more times I did a what if video, the more times or more views I would get. Now, where does my brother come into play? That's the real question.
Now, I remember my first experience with this channel at all was actually that trip to Florida. We were visiting Grandpa for Christmas. And you walked over and started asking me about the what if Goku Vegeta stuff. And that was the very first time I had heard, you didn't tell me even about the channel. You just started asking me this what if ideas, and we started bouncing stuff off about it.
Right. Well, you and I didn't really officially start collabing until the middle of that year, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was a while because it took me. You didn't tell me about the channel for a while. I had to find the channel myself.
It's true.
And then I'm like, "Are you doing this?"
Right. And so anyway, so he got brought in, and he's been pretty much the primary writer to at least a lot of the good stuff. More of the crappy content is me, but if you find anything good, it's all him.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I like some of your stuff too. I just tend to do more of the longer story stuff that we do.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the better stuff.
Oh no, that Juggernaut Deku video, that video was really good.
Again, you guys put more of the work in that than me. I'm just the pretty face.
The silky voice.
So Zan, would you like to talk about how our writing styles kind of conflict against each other and how we managed to make that collab work to an extent?
Okay, well, I will say, we've got totally different styles when it comes to writing. I'm way more serious and trying to get that nitty gritty story going on. And you're like, nah, man, let's have fun with it. Let's tell some jokes. And so at first, I won't even lie. At first, it really bothered me for a while. But those first couple, I want to say the first or second video, we really got a good rhythm where I felt our styles flowed together. Because it'd go from being serious to telling some jokes, and then back into the serious, and then telling some jokes.
Yeah, I think by the time we wrote part 2, we had an idea of how we're going back and forth with it.
Yeah.
Like, literally to the point where where Drew from My Hero My Life literally left at the end of the second video as part of a scripted joke. That was real.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that scripting was really tight knot. It sounded like that could have been a decent conversation that we just made up.
Yeah.
It's like, Drew, you're going too crazy. It's like, why did you bring me into this? Even though the story's actually relatively good with where it's going.
It all hinges on that one guy.
Honestly, putting Sidorak in MHA is such a weird contrast. Like, it really gives it these nice, like, sign-in vibes, but I was trying to balance it out with some, like, humor to keep it funny, so it's not too dark.
Yeah. And you did work some of that in there, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, especially considering, like, this is spoilers for people who haven't seen part 1 of the series for whatever reason, but with Bakugo basically dying in the first part, I don't think people saw that coming.
I actually think
No.
that's one of my favorite parts about that. Because that, I mean, whether it's this What If or a different one, that's a good question. Like, what would it look like if he died? Because that's a monumental moment in the show, and it's a monumental moment specifically in Deku's life.
Well, the important thing was structuring, like, Juggernaut Deku as a character. The idea is, like, he blames All Might for the fact that Bakugo kind of died.
Yeah, it kind of puts just a little bit of a damper on his whole idol complex that he's got. Oh.
I think that's going to be more interesting to explore down the line, because at the moment, Deku already has his mentor figure, so what All Might will become in the story is going to be something different, obviously.
That's true. So guys, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it.
And like it. Like it.
Yeah, that's actually more important than watching it. You don't have to watch the video. Just go hit the like button, and we'll get the next part out.
Like, the views are fine for this series.
Yeah,
People
views are
liking
great.
it.
Views are great. Just like the video, okay? It's good.
But I'm actually curious what got you into, like, normal comic stuff, because I know you did a couple collabs with that.
Sorry, say that again?
Oh, I was wondering what got you into, like, DC and Marvel comic stuff, because I see a lot of
yeah.
stuff related to that.
Yeah, well, you gotta understand, we kind of we talked about this a little bit before the interview, but I'm a little bit older than some of your average YouTubers. However, obviously that anyone can like DC, anyone can like Marvel. Like, I remember, I'm from the era where anime and manga was very, very scarce and hard to find. And even back then, I don't even think we knew the terms anime or manga. So I grew up on Marvel comics and DC comics. In fact, I was in the dollar store the other day, and I was reminded that when I was a kid, I could go into a dollar store, and you could literally buy 3 comics for $1. They'd come in a pack. And I was like, man, I wish that you could do that these days, but comics are much more expensive. And
the funny thing about those comics is I remember that's actually my first introduction to Image comics too.
Yeah.
Which were not made for kids, but they were
No.
3 for $1 at the comic store or at the
Right.
dollar store. And so,
Right.
yeah, we wound up with comics that we probably should not have been reading.
It's true. They were super gory and maybe showed some things we shouldn't see as kids. But yeah, so to answer your question, Marvel and DC's been ingrained in the both of us since we were kids. I mean, I remember growing up watching the animated Batman cartoon, the Superman cartoon, Spider-Man, and X-Men, of course. In fact,
Yep.
I remember I was so young. when the X-Men cartoon came out, I always called Wolverine X-Man, and you always kept correcting me. That's not X-Man, that's Wolverine. Which to me, I was so young, I thought that one of the characters had to be X-Man.
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely 90s kids. We got to grow up with all those great 90s comic shows.
Right. So, and I feel like when you sit down and you try to put some franchises together with My Hero Academia, obviously Marvel and DC flow perfect with it just because it's superheroes. Honestly, it's what inspired My Hero Academia. We know that Horikoshi is a huge fan of Spider-Man and other comics, and so it just works great. And so that's kind of why you've seen some of that.
Yeah, I will say that I'm kind of sad that we still don't have like a Vigilantes anime. I know even like a year ago people were talking about it could have been a thing, but it's still not here, which is kind of disappointing.
That would have been sweet. I really would like it to be on the off season, like if they do, the main series season, and then a few weeks or a month later comes a season of My Hero Vigilantes. However, I was watching a video from, what is his name? Oceanus. I don't know if you guys know him. And he was totally like ripping on the manga and how terrible it was. So obviously not everybody likes it. I think it's cool just because it's a different take, a different view on it.
I think it's important for story expansion. Like, I'm a JoJo's fan. I've watched the Thus Spoke Kashibi Rohan OVAs, and even though I personally didn't like it as much, I still enjoyed the expanded, like, Rohan as a character. You get to see what he does, like, in his daily life to an extent.
Now, I think an OVA, a series of OVAs would actually be really good for Vigilantes.
I agree with that.
I think
that would work great.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, my thing is, like, the manga seems like it's about to end. It's like, why not start up Vigilantes in the middle? Like, at least anime-wise.
I get that. And I know I'm just fresh from watching that Oceanus video. But, like, some of the things he was saying is that he felt that there were plot points that were never, like, really went places. He said that there was just too much dialogue that seemed meaningless. And what I think that, whether you agree with his opinion, that's beside the point. My point is that people see flaws in it, whether it's that opinion or something else. And what an OVA would allow is for you to tighten it up and get rid of the fluff, for lack of better terms, and just get to the meat and potatoes. Where a series, you draw it more out. So that's why I kind of really like the OVA concept, especially if you were to. And I haven't finished Vigilante, so I really don't know where they've gone with it. I think I read, I don't know, quite a bit of it, to say the least. But I feel like if you did it well, like you could break it into 3 sections or something like that. Again, I haven't read all of it, so I don't know if it would need more sections or less. But if that could work, you could literally do 3 OVAs over a series of time. Either that's once a year or, hey, if they want to cram it out, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I get that. But something else I was curious to ask y'all about, since I don't have the opportunity to have MHA people around. What do you think of Season 5's adaptation? Because I personally feel like a lot of people dropped off after Season 5, and even I was considering that.
Here's the thing. A lot of us are looking at it as hardcore fans. People that have read the manga, people that have expectations. And
well, let me tell you something. Like, this is pretty out there. I don't read the manga.
Okay.
Like, I only watch the anime, so that was my only expectation.
Really? So you don't even know what happens?
No, I watched all of Season 5.
No.
That's the thing.
No, I get that, but I'm saying, like, you don't know where they're even at in the manga right now.
No, I don't know where we are currently. I just know.
Okay.
Well, as someone who edits for like Anime Sage, for example, I have to know where certain series are at, even if I don't know directly like what's happening with them.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, obviously it's not perfect and it has its issues. But for me personally, I mean, I guess it just is what it is.
Well, I can explain a little bit from my end. So I think focusing it around Dever, that's fine. I think that decision was not a bad one. My main issue is that when you get to MVA and you have this new villain group introduced, in the manga they actually set them up as like nice people who people actually cared about. But in the anime it's like, oh, it's just another shady evil organization again. It's like, what's up? It's like,
yeah,
it hurts the story. Like, they could have actually gave them build or something.
Again, you're comparing it to the manga. That's my point.
But I'm saying that's an issue, though.
Yeah.
Because if they're supposed to be this, like revolutionary, like, army idea, and the idea is that they're supposed to work in the shadow, so to speak, but we don't know what their outward appearance is, and to me it's just like another villain group to just
I get that.
There.
I get that. I think my point is that
it's like the Hisaikai, for example. It's like they somewhat had a front, even if their boss, it's like, oh, Aries, my daughter, and I'm just gonna go leave. It's like, at least that was something.
Yeah. I'm just saying that if there was nothing to compare it to, if there was no manga, I wonder if we would still be in an uproar. That's all I'm saying. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we would be perfectly upset. I just wonder how much the manga... And let's be honest, I want to back up. I know I'm defending the anime, and everyone has a right to be upset because the anime should be as faithful as possible. So I get that. I totally understand why people are upset, and why people want to be done with it and say, dude, what the heck? However, if this had no manga, which again, it obviously does, so my argument kind of sucks, but I'm just saying that if there was nothing to compare it to, I wonder if it would be different. But again, there is something to compare it to.
Well, I think I've been quiet so far because I don't even remember if I've actually watched season 5.
Okay.
Because I switched to the manga, but I like the point you're trying to make because I do try to apply that same idea of objectively looking at a media for the media itself. So like, typically for me, it's more often looking at how the movie is just as a movie versus the book, because the book is always better, they say.
Right.
Okay, but how did that movie do on its own if just looked at by itself completely on its own?
And this is things that we've been doing, and I would say that, I mean, we've been doing this from ever since we were a kid, when the first Spider-Man movie came out, or even X-Men in the, what was that, early 2000. You know, I remember watching the first X-Men and being like, this is trash, because they didn't have all the colorful suits that I grew up with. And so like we had to learn through the years, what does it mean to look at a movie for just itself? And so I guess I'm applying that concept to the anime. Like, and again, we're not going to always agree with their decisions. So I guess I feel like it is what it is. However,
I guess to rephrase myself a little bit, I'm coming from the perspective that I thought majority of it was fine, but when I got to MVA, it felt like there was a lot of gaps in the story.
Gotcha. You know, I will say there is a particular manga panel or page or something that is like stuck in my head, and I honestly don't remember the context of it. It's just like there was these weird, like, almost like skeleton looking people. I don't even, it sounds weird as I'm trying. And I felt like that wasn't in the anime at all. And I couldn't.
Yeah, in MVA, like in the manga, they're supposed to fight these like experimental no moves. That's fine. I don't think that was as big of a deal if they chose to exclude them.
Well, I don't think that's what I'm talking. I don't remember what it was. It was almost like a cult. It doesn't matter. My point is yes, I feel like there are some parts that you're right that maybe is missing. But again, that's where it gets hard for me because how am I objective when I already have something to base it on? So how do I know? Because like you said, there's gaps in the story.
Well, that's what I'm basing it on.
Yeah.
Because I would have not read the manga if I didn't feel like it was complete.
Yeah. Like even, I guess what I'm saying is sometimes for myself, and I can only speak for myself, sometimes I put my own headcanon in there. So like where you might see gaps, I might see as, oh, this is fine because I had already read the manga and filled in the dots. Now that doesn't make it acceptable. Obviously that they screwed up. But like for instance, I went and saw Spider-Man No Way Home, and I don't think this is a spoiler, and hopefully everyone's seen it by now. But in the trailer, it says that all the people that he is fighting are dead. Like all the bad guys are dead. And then when I went to the theater, that's not what they said. But I had it stuck in my head that they had said that because I brought that in with me. And so to
be fair, with a lot of trailers like that, they do throw out misleading stuff. Like the Hulk was in Infinity War trailer and he never showed up.
Right. I get they do that. My point is so then when I started viewing the film, I had a lens that wasn't valuable to the film. And in fact, it was detrimental because when I left, I thought there were more holes in the film than there actually were. Because that didn't make sense. They never said that, but I thought they did. And so my point is sometimes when we view things, especially if we have other knowledge coming into it, it can change our viewing. So like when I look at season 5, I don't see holes, but that doesn't mean they're not there. I just may have filled them in with my own head canon. Does that make sense?
Well, here's the weird thing of season 5. If they did MVA first and continued from the teaser from season 4, seeing that giant guy, like maybe it would have flowed better, like a little bit, but I still don't think that would have saved it, even for me.
Yeah.
Or the other option, they could have tied in the second movie together and be like, that was the test that the doctor guy wanted them to do, or something.
Yeah.
Like, that could have made sense, even.
Yeah.
And anyone who watched the film got that info, technically, which I assume most anime fans would watch the movies, I feel like.
Yeah, Seth, do you watch it? Do you watch the movies?
No, I still haven't watched either movie yet.
Oh, then you're not a real anime fan.
They just
I'm just done talking to people who say things like that.
I mean, I will say the second MHA movie is probably the best one. It's worth your time. The other two are kind of a mixed bag for me, personally.
I like the first one, but I had nothing to compare it to again. I'm trying to remember what even happened.
Well, the first one's okay. Like, that's the thing. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's like a first movie type deal. Kind of like Spider-Man 1 for me. It's like, it's not my favorite, but I'll watch it.
Yeah. Remind me, what even happens in 3? I forgot. Oh, wait, there's that blue dude.
It's that weird cult thing that happens.
Yeah, what was that? Oh.
Reflector.
I guess it's bad. Like, I remember 2 more than I remember 3, so I guess you're right.
My thing was the stakes were too high in that movie. That's my personal thing.
Yeah, I just don't remember much of it. And I went and saw. I think I've seen all 3 in theaters.
I only saw 3 in theaters, and I felt bad because that's the only one I saw at the time.
Oh wow!
Because when 2 was coming out, I was on vacation and COVID was about starting up, so it was very tricky to get anywhere. Like, I just chose not to go see something.
I gotcha. Cool.
Like, this is like before COVID started really rolling out. Cause I think it came out in January, or February.
Yeah. I think you're right. Nope.
And people weren't sure what to do, because my thing is, like, I already had plans. Like, if it wasn't, like, lost money, whatever. Like, it's whatever,
Right.
I didn't go to any conventions though in 2020. I'm not risking that. I waited a year. I was good. Yeah. So with the writing process, do you notice a difference between you two, you think?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's why I let my brother handle a lot of it. I tackle smaller stuff, things that I can crank out fast. If it's something good, again, I said this before, he's better at it than me. And so like if there's something that I feel like needs more quality and needs more time, needs the kind of effort that my brother puts into it, then I'll have him handle that. But if it's something really simple, like just a concept or an idea I want to talk about, I'll throw that in there. And so let me explain. When Seth does it, when he does these, when he does the big stories, it's a story, right? And sometimes, like I'll read the script and I'll be like, hey, can we change this? Can we change that? And there is a lot of brainstorming between the two of us that may go into certain ones, but he's really the one that puts all the work and effort into getting into an actual script. But for me, mine's less of a story and more of an idea. It's almost like I'm bringing a question to the table and hoping that the audience will get involved in the conversation down in the comments. I think I had one of the videos I'm reminded of was like, what if Batman fought the League of Villains or something similar to that? I'm not sure. But like, again, it was really a question, like, could he handle these guys? And then of course people put down in the comments where they're like, yeah, you're totally right, or no, Batman would die. And so I just, but
to be fair, I've done something like that before. I did basically what if Koro Sensei could blow up the Earth, and basically mathematically I proved yes, he could do it, even though it's because here's the thing with Assassination Classroom, it's basically stated as a feat, and we see like there's a scene where basically a moon's blown up by something smaller, so it's like, okay, so that's what you have to base it off of.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, and so for me, I'm just kind of bringing some different points, and I wouldn't even say that I'm very scientific or probably not even do as much research. I just use what I know of, like, hey, this is what he's done before.
Well, it's like a commentary.
You're giving there you go. Perfect.
Next.
Perfect. I give my opinion, and then I leave it for you guys in the comments to give me yours.
And then I just write a story.
But again, if you look at the views, if you look at what gathers the most attention on my channel, it is usually the stories. The only thing that has more views on the stories is a really fun series we did that I wish I knew how to replicate. That's our Build a Quirk workshop, where we literally like almost make a D&D system, some sort of like, you can almost turn into an RPG, and it's on how to build a quirk so that it's not just like overpowered, because anyone can say, hey, I'm super powerful, but like this, there's like literally a system involved on how to get the quirk that you're looking for.
It was because it was indeed heavily based around, like, I looked at all the limitations for the quirks of Class 1A, a good chunk of Class 1B, all the teachers and stuff, and I use those limits to help, because that's a big part of what MHA is about for the characters and their power sets, is learning what their limits are, and then either A, how to kind of push past those limits, or how to get around those limits. And so the system was really designed to help replicate that idea.
I would say the best way you should go about that is basically explain like MHA's power scaling system and just use that part of your premise, basically.
There was a lot, like, again, like, it's compared to almost like building a character with D&D. Obviously, it has its differences, and I'm probably not the expert to speak on that because I've played D&D only once in my life. But the reason why I actually asked Seth to write this for me, I had this idea in my head because he's way more into that than me. We wanted this idea of it being almost like you're creating a character for an RPG.
Yeah, actually, we do want. It was eventually our plan to expand it into like a tabletop kind of game.
Whether we'll ever
But there's
get
a lot
there,
of work that
yeah.
there's a lot of work that goes into that kind of thing.
So who knows? Who knows? And in fact, didn't some person reach out to us about that?
Yeah, and then COVID hit, and I've kind of like asked him talked to him a few times, but we just never had the chance to sit back down and like work with it.
Yeah, there's been, I'm forgetting right now.
I mean, the remaster did really well.
Yes.
As I'm looking at it, it's like it's probably worthwhile continuing it.
Yeah, well, so before the remaster, that was before I had a better microphone, and can we record that at our?
I guess you can remaster it again.
So all we did was we, for the most part, just re-recorded it. However, there were some small throwbacks, I guess, to the original.
Yeah, I kind of rewrote the script in order to point to the originals, because I didn't want to take down the original videos because so many people had already put up like their comments with their characters and stuff.
Right. But one of the problem with the original was it was in 4 parts, and so like literally you had to watch each part. Where this is just one solid thing. The quality is better. And honestly, looking back at it, having it in 4 parts sounds cool from a YouTube standpoint, because the more parts, the more videos, the more views. However, what's hard is the whole thing is one piece. And if you were to break down each video, you have to transfer all your stuff, because like first we have you break out a paper and pencil, and you got to write all these numbers down. Again, you're creating a character similar to D&D. Imagine being in the middle of creating it, and there's like, okay, well, hey, wait next week. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't make sense. And so with the remaster, we were able to come back, make better audio, and really put it into one big video to make it easier for people to be able to do that, to create their quirks.
I know JJK hasn't been doing the best YouTube wise, but making a curse sounds like a neat follow-up to that.
Yeah. I don't think I finished, well, I know I haven't. I've only watched like maybe are they doing that seasonal, or are they doing it episodic, like every episode, weekly, or is it seasonal?
I think it's seasonal. I'm caught up. I'm waiting for the movie to get dubbed, but that's supposed to come out next month, I think.
I know they were in some sort of like exam tournament thing. I don't remember.
And I've still only watched like an episode or 2.
Yeah. Which I did do a video on that, hoping like I did more of an essay style, which I had never done before. I'm like, dude, this is great. This is like the best stuff I've ever written. And then nobody watched it. I'm like, dude, this sucks. So I haven't made a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen.
I'm just saying the market's out there. There's not that much what if coverage on it. It's like, it's odd because it's popular, but I guess maybe people don't know what type of content besides like chapter reviews. But even those are kind of iffy view-wise that I've been checking.
Yeah. I don't know.
It could just be the audience you built up as well, because if you start with one thing, people expect it.
I agree with you. I agree. It could have been a big part of it. Which is fine. I'm just saying it just from a creator standpoint only, it just was a bummer to put all that work into the video. Like I watched the series specifically to write this video. Like I had this idea in mind. I think I had seen the first episode, and this concept of what the video turned into came from that. So like I put all the work into actually watching it, like, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think I'm a huge fan of the show. That's why I haven't like got all caught up. What I talk about in that video is what intrigued me the most. That's why I watched it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Sometimes as a content creator you have passion that sparks, but sometimes it just doesn't stay.
Right.
That was one funny story. I think there was one point you wanted to be What If Universe as your channel name, but I already had it at the time.
Yeah. We had Seth. What was that? I feel like we had a different idea back in the day for like what if stuff.
Um,
You remember what I'm talking about, or not at all?
are you talking like way back when?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't remember. Sorry, man. I'm old.
Well, no, I know at one point you said you did want to be What If Universe, but it was taken.
Yeah. I just don't remember what. I feel like our content was going to be different. Is my point. I don't think it was supposed to be My Hero Academia.
Well, yeah, I think you're just gonna do more general, like what if, all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because eventually we don't want to do just MHA. We want to be able to touch on like any sort of anime or
Right.
basically any kind of like part of geekdom. Because I cover all sorts of gaming. He likes other kind of geeky stuff that I'm not quite as much into.
Right.
Or don't do as much tabletop, or not tabletop, but like the really cool board games like Zombicide and stuff, which I'm so stoked for that Marvel Zombicide.
Dude, did you see how much it costs though?
It was, yeah, I did.
Like $600.
Well, you can play as the zombies.
Yes. To pay $600, even I'm struggling to jump on board with that.
That's
Yeah,
honestly a
pretty
ton of
hefty
money.
price.
Yeah.
It is.
I usually have no problem dropping like $100 on a board game. Their bare minimum was $130.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
Whoa.
I saw that.
Yeah. And so the whole reason why I was jumping on it is they have this zombie Galactus. Even him, just to get him is $180. Like what for a miniature? I mean, he's a massive miniature. He's a 2-foot miniature, but there's no way. There's no way a 2 feet worth of of plastic is worth $180. The only reason why there's that kind of price point on it is because it is Galactus.
Well, I think what's interesting, I was watching a video about that with Kickstarters and stuff and people funding things like that.
Yeah.
And I think what's more interesting to me is that at least with something like that, you theoretically can get a physical item that can be in limited quantity.
Yeah.
And I try to compare that with like NFTs, for example. It's like I could see them working. The problem is it's like there's a lot of environmental impact stuff that goes against my core beliefs, technically, despite the fact they could actually be useful, like technology-wise.
So yeah, I mean, going back to the concept of the channel, obviously we don't want to be My Hero Academia focused forever. However, I feel like the direction of us as a team, like if you go back to our channel right now, you'll see that we haven't posted a lot lately, and so we're kind of moving in some different directions, kind of or outside the YouTube community. And that's kind of why you have not seen our YouTube activity, but we've been working on other things behind the scenes.
Yeah, we've actually got
like posting some of your videos as like TikTok clips, because I've been considering that with my own channel for people to just see stuff.
We tried once. I had put up the start. You know how like my opening. I put like my opening on there, and then I just decided not to do it. But I agree that TikTok is not a bad platform to try it.
Because I talked with Karthu when I did his interview, and he's like one of the first like what if YouTubers like to pioneer that concept to like show your parts of your what if like in parts, and then people go to your YouTube channel if they really want to see the full thing, basically.
Right. I will say I noticed. What is his name? Geekdom 101. He's not really a what if YouTuber, but he's still a big guy in the anime community. He's been doing shorts on YouTube where he'll take a concept or an idea, like like something about Bardock, right? The father of Goku. And he'll give like a quick fact on the short. And then it'll be like, he'll always like point it back to his channel. And so like, if you're really big into DBZ, and it'll probably pop up on your short. And if you're not already aware of his channel, and so I thought about that, doing shorts really quick and easy. I just honestly haven't. And again, we haven't been that active because, like I said, just worked on another project.
No, that's fair. Like, even at the time of this recording, like, yeah, I'm saying she decided to take the week off, so I'm basically like, all right, I'm just gonna work on my own channel now until he needs me to add stuff for him again.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't understand. It's like, when you get into this team dynamic, especially with the channel, it's almost like 10 times like your channel's current size. It's a lot of work to get into.
I bet. Is that and believe me, we don't have to talk about how much, but is that a paid gig or is that just like you guys are bros?
I'm gonna say it's partly both. So there's a couple of times where I've done like thumbnails for him for free, and
okay.
Also, if you've seen the What If Alexander Anderson Trained Deku series, I believe majority of that was just edited by me.
Okay.
For free, basically.
Gotcha.
Because we were seeing like how his audience would react to someone else editing his videos, like way back in the day.
Yeah.
And most people seem to receive it fine.
Good. Very good.
Because you gotta experiment, you know. It's like Sage's older content isn't super highly edited. I think you guys collabed with him a while back, right?
Yeah, we collabed with Anime Sage.
Yeah, you've seen that.
I think
video,
so,
like,
haven't we?
With your collab.
Yeah, it wasn't the What If Naruto and something about Naruto and Deku?
Ichigo, I think.
Yeah. Am I getting him?
Nope.
Oh my.
I think it was What If Naruto and Deku were brothers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And we did that on his channel, right? I thought.
Yeah, I think it's still up there.
Yeah. We did.
But you can tell the editing shift from that video and further up. Like,
Yeah.
I think with me, since I'm slightly larger in your channel, I still consider myself a small channel.
Yeah.
Like, you realize that I think with What Ifs, we're gonna hit a ceiling because there's so much like junk content out there. Like, you know those Reddit reading channels, you know?
What?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that was a thing. That sounds dumb.
Oh, okay. So
They
basically,
just read Reddit. That's all they do.
No.
Okay,
it's
They,
all
actually, they don't.
text-to-speech.
A lot of them, they are just text to speech, and they don't even read it off like themselves.
Oh man, what are we doing?
So the new big thing
are we doing?
with What Ifs is people are getting fan fictions, retitling them as What Ifs,
Yeah.
put text to speech or read it themselves, and they get like 10K
Wow.
in views.
And that sounds like wow.
And like literally Plus Ultraman, like in his update video, was calling him out, and I honestly thanked him because there really isn't anyone else talking about how bad this is actually hurting the community. Like, I would rather prop up smaller channels, which I'm planning to for this year. I'm gonna do interviews with people probably under 100, not 100K, under 1,000, because I know a few that are actually good.
Mhm.
I'd rather do that than let this continue.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather let them grow and actually people watch someone that's interesting.
I get that.
But speaking of fan fiction, I was curious what your thoughts on it was, actually.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't like to read, so I don't read a lot of it.
That's fair enough.
I mean, I've read a little bit of fan fiction, but I'll also be honest, most of the time, a lot of fan fictions are not well written or oftentimes grammatically correct. And for much of my life, I was a big stickler on that. And so I just kind of stayed away from them for the most part.
I mean, considering their writing, I can see that now. There's a lot of times I didn't have stuff grammatically correct when we were writing.
I know, and fortunately, by that point, I had already kind of been breaking myself of the habit. just
Well,
because.
it's like just fix it, because if you have a problem with it, that's how I felt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did often kind of go back and fix it, but oh.
Because to me, I switched over from being more serious more to the entertainment factor of a what if, basically. Like, to me, that's what kind of matters a bit more to me. 'Cause if you're not enjoying it, like with the story part, at least hope that it being funny can also be a plus, technically.
Yeah,
At least
but
that's how I feel about it.
yeah, but I really enjoy that like serious, gritty story. Though like I said, I think it worked well. I think we got it to work pretty well with both of our styles. In the Juggernaut video, go like it, guys.
Well, I think the important thing is if you want to insert humor into your what ifs, you need to figure out a good balance. I think that's why me and Sage worked out so well as we have, because he is relatively funny with a lot of his stuff. Like, there's a couple times he says, like, bad jokes, but then again, comedy's fairly subjective. I know other people like them.
Yeah.
But speaking of subjectivity, like as a YouTube channel, do you care about dislikes? Because I know it differs between each person, basically.
You know, early on, any criticism hurt. Whether that was a dislike or a negative comment on a video. At this point in time, not to say that I agree we're a small YouTube channel, but like probably my first 100, when I was still in like the low like 100 or 200, I remember like anything someone said or disliked, like it stung. Now I feel like it kind of just falls off me. And I guess I just don't care anymore. Everyone has a right to like and dislike, I think. I mean, like, it's okay. Like, even you, you know what I mean? I would imagine that if I sat down and watched all your videos, some I would find I would like and some I would dislike. However, just me as an individual, I very rarely click the dislike button. I don't think it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's got to be something that I really don't like to hit that dislike.
Right. However, I don't think that means that people don't have a right to, if they dislike it, they dislike it. And obviously not everyone has our philosophy of, you know, really disliking. Some people just like to dislike things with their buttholes.
I will say, I would prefer a comment about why people dislike something versus just a dislike button, because sometimes they have a valid point. Though just as often from the comments that are somebody explaining their dislike, I will say sometimes I could just do without that.
So, like, for example, if instead of removing the public dislike counter, if YouTube made it required you have to type a comment why you dislike something, would that turned out better?
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I think that'd be a way better system. Absolutely.
It would obviously wouldn't be perfect because you could literally just put anything in there. You know, put just a random letter.
Well, I'm saying like the spam filter we have could just filter them out. So if it doesn't think it's a legitimate comment,
right? That's
like
true.
It wouldn't keep the dislike.
That's true.
It's how I would have phrased it.
Yeah.
And it would definitely ensure that people are disliking more so because they dislike something, because now there's more effort required to do so.
That's true. That's good. I like that.
All right, I'm gonna wrap a few things up. So, one content style I was curious about is like what led you to the Discord discussion stuff, because this is fairly new type of concept. I've seen.
Yeah. So Seth is all into trying to like, hey, how do we reach the community better than what we've been doing? And I'm just lazy. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm lazy. And so he's like, oh, we need to do Discord. We need to do that. And I am so bad at technology. I don't know why. There are people my age that are great with it. I mean, Seth is my older brother. He knows this stuff better than me. So I don't want to blame it on an age thing. Discord has been hard for me to understand. In fact, logging in today, I had Seth on speakerphone walking me through on how to get into this chat, because I didn't know what I was doing at all. And so it was all Seth's idea, like, hey, let's do a Discord. Let's see what people's ideas are, and let's make videos on them. And I said, okay, but you're doing the work, because I don't care.
And on that note, as he said, he's lazy. Well, I'm not that much better because, yes, I've gotten some Discord discussion videos out. Yes, we have some discussions here and there, but even overall, I can't say I'm like super active in that Discord.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm the workaholic for my dynamic with Sage, so I think it's good. He kind of took a week off so I can do some stuff for my own channel.
I mean,
But with the show pro stuff going on, like, it's been tricky, but we're kind of cutting close on time as far as that goes, and I have a short video on my channel if people want to see that. But I guess, is there any stuff you want to plug here before we end?
First off, go like that Deku Juggernaut video. That's the first thing we want to plug, that's for sure.
Yeah, again. And again, go like it.
And send it to your friends and tell them to like it, and then have them send it to their friends. But
I'm putting those as the next two videos at the end card here. They could go watch them.
Perfect.
Go like them.
Perfect. I mean, it's hard because right now, like I said, we're not really active on the channel. It doesn't mean that we won't ever be.
I guess our best one to plug would be, if you guys haven't seen our channel at all, and the early ones are kind of rough because the series has been going on for so long, go check out the What If Deku Was Venom series, because it's our longest running series and has the most content.
Yeah.
But beware that some of that early stuff is kind of rough.
Yeah, comparatively, for sure. Yeah, that's it. That's a good one to plug.
But yeah, I'm gonna end things off here. This has been the My Hero My Life team on What If Universe, and always remember, in What If Universe there are endless possibilities, and I'll see you in the next one.
Later, guys.
Thanks for having us.